Hey everyone, this is Oscar from Underdog. Today we're coming at you with an advanced topic. I do a lot of videos here that are for beginners or intermediate producers, and I would say this one really is quite advanced, and it's about distortion. It's about creating distortion grooves, specifically something that might sound like this. The beauty of something like that is that you can take a very clean beat, which is dark and warm and modern, and then add in this grit layer, and suddenly all the spaces in between sounds have some kind of texture that opens up your ear and that makes you want to dive in face first into these beautiful sounds. I mean, clearly I've just been working on my live set, doing a lot of research, and I'm so excited about a particular signal flow that I really want to share it with you. So what are we going to call this? Maybe we call them modulated distortion grooves. Because let me simplify the story a little bit by just moving some of these things around. First of all, what we're going to listen to is the output of this analog rhythm. It's just a drum machine. And maybe let's program something not halftime, but something 4 on the floor. In fact, let's take away the clap. So a kind of a groovy pattern. And I've got this quick performance knob that when I turn it, basically it scoops up the low frequencies. So basically putting on a high pass filter and a bunch of delay and reverb. So I can create drops just on this drum machine. And this is going to be important because this is the signal that we are going to put entirely into a distortion pedal. By the way, I'm going to walk you through the signal flow entirely one time. Then I'm going to draw it in as a diagram. And then I'm going to let you take those concepts and apply them in whatever tools you've got. So this drum machine goes into a distortion pedal. So this is cool, right? I mean, once I heard this, I was like, yeah, I need this pedal in my life. This is a timbre or a texture or a vibe that I freaking love. This pedal is called the God Eater by Animal Factory, and I did a video on them about Super Booth just a few weeks ago. And yeah, it's just gorgeous. Like, this is the dry signal, which is nice, right? But this, I don't know. There's something hard and soft, aggressive and delicate inside of this that I just... But yeah, that's just a distortion tone applied to the entire drum groove, which is already cool. Now what we want to do is apply some movement to that. And there is a sidechain signal within the pedal, so it can listen to the incoming signal and apply more or less distortion based on the intensity of the signal. But it also has a sidechain input where you can put in CV, and that's where it interacts with the modular. So this little step sequencer is going to be determining how much this distortion pedal really works. So for example, I'm going to put them all at a minimum, and I'm going to hit play. So you see when we set certain steps, we can increase or decrease the amount of distortion at that step. So that gives a certain push and pull that wasn't even in the original drum groove to begin with. We're kind of adding accents or a layer of dynamics over the top of it. And we have the clean signal on its own channel. So then when we add in the dirty signal, clean, and with some grit. That's already got so much movement. Love that. And now before I make it more complicated, let me first do a little tangent about effects before and after this distortion. So if we hit play, let's just do the distortion alone, right? Like I said, on this analog rhythm, there is a quick performance knob. And so that hits the distortion in a really weird way. I mean, in a cool way. So it goes from really snappy and tight to really loose and shaky, super snappy and tight. And we could do a similar move after the distortion, where on the master I've got a delay unit. So if I combine that, I don't have enough hands. I'm sorry, but this groove kills. It's such a different sound world than the dry. And so, by the way, let's do a little nerdy tangent about the concept of audio quality. Because this is a great moment, I find. Because this channel, the clean channel, is round and warm and clear and precise and pristine, and there's space between the elements. And here it's obviously degraded, right? Completely degraded. But that doesn't mean that it's worse music. This has an emotional quality that's very different from this. It communicates something more punk, a bit more resistance-y. Like you just wanna fight the world somehow or something. You know what I mean? Like just, or I don't know, it's like being stuck in an existential tumble dryer. So maybe it's both. Maybe it's just one that you need. I don't know, but this is just fun. What was I saying? Oh yeah, audio quality. One is obviously more high quality than the other, but the word quality in art doesn't necessarily mean bad versus good. I'm trying to use it in the sense that the quality is just difference. Like blue is a certain quality of color and red is a certain quality of color. And you can have blue with a little bit of red or blue with a little bit of yellow in it or whatever. Those are different qualities of blue. It doesn't mean that one is better than the other. You know what I mean? It's all about feelings and about, yeah, it's art, right? It's art. So anyway, this is a beautiful sound color, if you ask me, in my world. But one of the things that makes this so exciting, other than this very hands-on CV control that I'm very excited about, by the way, big ups to Joranalog, Belgian modular creator, hell yeah, is that I'm going to put that signal through even more processing. And so that signal, instead of playing it like that, I'm going to put it through the audio input of my DFAM. And the DFAM is yet another step sequencer, or two step sequencers, putting my signal through a filter and an amplifier. And then how about that output? We put through yet another filter that I cannot tell you about because it's not out yet and it's kind of under embargo. So please don't shoot me. But it's essentially a tube distortion filter. And so what does that give us? Well, it gives us even more tight control over where the accents lie in this groove. Now let's hit play. Whoa. So before, we have the entire groove, which is arguably a bit too much if we just want to use it as a layer. And there we go. We now have the cutoff of the Moog, also available to us for more expression, plus the VCA. So what if we just want that? And the velocity line here tells us where we can put our accents, right? There we go. And now let's put that through some delay. I'm sorry, but this is beautiful. You can't tell me anything otherwise. And let's bring in the dry. And that's just the same drum groove again and again and again with different expression controls. Oh, look at what that does. Freaky. I can add in like a little synth voice to give it some context. Now, whenever I want, I can change some of the places where the accent sits. I haven't changed the drum beat, I've just changed where the distortion accents are. Totally different beat suddenly. What the hell? And so that's my discovery of this Friday. Let me draw a little diagram. As I said, it's pretty advanced. It kind of requires you to understand all the different modular concepts and stuff that I just glossed over. So let me draw you a diagram real quick to sort of help you break down the concepts and realize that probably you can do this in software as well. Okay, I've done a little diagram and you can see there are 4 main sections to this. First is a groove box. That groove box is just going to be playing an entire drum beat, okay? Then we can put that through a distortion unit, and then that goes into a mixer. And in the mixer, we can also bring in the clean signal if we want in parallel. And then after the mixer, we've got some performance effects, some delays, and some reverbs after everything. So in pink, we've got the places that are very fun to perform. It's very nice to put your hands on the high pass and delay on the groove box and on the delay on the output. It gives 2 similar but distinct ways of kind of shaking the rhythm up. And then within the distortion, we saw that we want to have CV control, preferably step sequenced CV control over the amount of the distortion, over the filters that it's going through, and maybe also through a VCA, which is just the modular word for an amplifier or a thing that can cut away all the volume of the parts where we don't want it, so that it becomes just a slice of distortion that's very dexterously placed within the mix rather than this overwhelming churn that just keeps going. I guess it's worth thinking, like, is this distortion layer the beat, or is this distortion layer kind of like a synthesizer that's playing within the beat? Is it like an element that's expressive inside of the context of a beat, or is it the beat? Both answers are valid. But so yeah, no matter what software you use, and with MIDI controllers, I'm sure you could set up something kind of similar. If you want to see the further development of the live sets, maybe go follow my Instagram. I guess that's where I'm going to post about it the most. Of course, I'm going to keep posting about it on the channel. Big shout out to Adi from Animal Factory, who gave me this idea of bringing in the distortion as a parallel channel and allowing me to unlock all of this beautiful manipulation. Remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel and say something nice in the comments to boost the algorithm. And until next time, stay producing, be good to each other, and take care. Bye-bye.